Really annoying. Right. I feel like I'm on Mastermind.
Perfect. You do look very professional. You look like you're ready for all my quick fire questions.
I think I'm ready. Though
Perfect.
the setup isn't professional at all. Balanced on a candle.
Neither is mine. I'm just like chilling on the sofa with. It looks fancy because I've angled it, but it's really not. You're balanced on a cup of tea.
Oh, yeah, cup of tea. You're balanced on a candle, so all the best people do it.
Right, perfect then. Well, we'll get started. I feel like I don't really need to do a full introduction because we know each other, but for the sake of the podcast and the people that don't know us, obviously you and me met through Cardiomyopathy UK, and I personally wanted to do this episode because I have never really talked about my cardiomyopathy, and I think a lot of people in my life don't really know that I've really got it or kind of much about it. And I just feel like there's so many young people out there with lots of different cardio conditions, and I think it can just feel really lonely at times. And I think the more of us that kind of chat about it and, talk about our lives and stuff with it, it just normalises it a bit, and I think takes some of the fear for other people, even like family members and friends of those with cardiac conditions.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's not anywhere near as widely spoken about as I think it should be. Even sort of some family members get a little bit, if I bring it up. And I must be difficult for them, but at the same time, you want to feel like you're able to talk about it.
Definitely. Do you want to chat a little bit about your experience and your condition? Yeah.
So I've got restrictive cardiomyopathy. I was diagnosed 9 years ago, I think. It was a month before my 18th birthday. And it was a complete accident that I was actually diagnosed. Didn't have any symptoms.
Wow.
Or
really?
anything. Yeah. I'd actually gone into hospital, into the pediatric department for a really small operation on my jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And they put me to sleep. I woke back up, and I said I did have a little bit of tightness in my chest, but truthfully, I heard that there was a therapy dog coming into the ward that day, and my mum kind of wanted to get the operation done, me wake up, go home. Don't blame her, but I was like, I really want to see this therapy dog. I was like, I don't feel that great. It wasn't a complete lie, but it wasn't a complete truth. And they were like, oh, we'll just do an ECG on you because you've just been put to sleep, whatever. And they did one, and then they kind of went away and all was a bit. And they came back a few hours later, I think, and the words were, Hope's heart looks unhappy.
Wow.
And I was like, what? What do you mean? I just want to see the therapy dog.
Are you sure? That is the most amazing diagnosis story I think I've heard in my life. Oh no, I was just being a bit dramatic because I wanted to see the therapy dog, but actually, no.
It turns out there was an actual problem. So I had to stay in hospital that night. No one knew what was going on. My poor mum was absolutely in bits about it.
Oh, bless her.
And yeah, it went from there. Because I was 18 the next month, I then didn't go. I got referred straight to Papworth Hospital in Cambridge.
Mm-hmm.
Though I saw my local paediatric cardiologist up until I think I was like 19 or 20, and he was amazing, like, because it was such a overwhelming time getting diagnosed. I was then about to do my A-level exams, and thinking about going off to uni, and then that was in May, and it was just like, oh my goodness, my life has fallen apart. But yeah, it
Definitely
hadn't
not.
fallen apart, but it was an
No, I
interesting
don't
time.
know what you mean though. Like, it's just, it's such a, I don't know, it's a weird thing to kind of adjust to. I mean, I was like 16 when I was kind of told that, oh, your heart could just stop. Like, could be out and about, no symptoms, whatever. And I think there's a part of you that's a bit like, oh, okay. And then there is a part of you that's like, end of the world, like, what am I gonna do? And I don't know, it's quite a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, it is, because I know that I went to Papworth and I had to have I think it was an MRI. I'd only just turned 18, and because they're an adult hospital, they treated me like an adult. And they ended up stopping the MRI, and I was crying, and because I'd not experienced any hospital admissions or anything as a child, like no ill health. So this was my first experience, and it was just it was awful, to be honest, because you just didn't know what to expect at all. And yeah, yourself, I know I just turned 18, was technically an adult, but really I was just a child.
Yeah, and I think that would have been a lot even for an adult. I mean,
Yeah,
especially as you say, not only has it come so out the blue, but it's your first experience of like being in a hospital, being unwell, and so there's so many new things happening. And yeah, I think that would have been really daunting at any age, let alone at 18.
I mean, and for you at 16, just to be told like, oh, your heart might stop. Well,
I
as a
mean,
16-year-old,
yeah.
well, of any age, but
I
what do you
feel like
do with
I've
that
never
information?
properly told
Like,
anyone about that, but if I'm gonna do this
because
episode,
the information is never going to leave you then, and it's
talk
just
about it.
going
We
around in your
might as
head.
well. But my heart symptoms kind of started around the age of about 10 or 11, in the sense that I started getting some heart flutters, palpitations, but I had a lot of other things going on at the time.
I cannot believe the electric just went off. That's fine.
Do you know what it's like for me with the Wi-Fi the other day? Every 5 minutes I was in a Teams meeting and it just kept dying. It was horrendous. Oh God.
So frustrating.
IT stuff is just the bane of our lives, really. Oh,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But now, what was this? Yes. No, I was just saying that I started having like symptoms officially when I was like 10, in the sense of I had a lot of like palpitations, but because I was quite unwell anyway, I didn't really think much of it, like, because obviously you can get palpitations and stuff when you're not well. But when I was in hospital, they did a few tests anyway, and that was when they kind of found the cardiomyopathy, and I'd never really been worried about it that much, because I think at a young age you don't really fully realise what it is, and
No.
obviously like it was uncomfortable at times, but I wasn't massively affected. But then obviously on my 16th birthday, the way that it came about was I had a really good team of like consultants and cardiologists and everything, and they said that they felt a bit uncomfortable because we were all had such good lines of communication. They said to my parents that, we want to sit down with Zoe and be really honest, and because obviously my parents knew, but I think my parents were trying to shield me a bit from everything, whereas they were like, we feel a bit uncomfortable her not knowing the full extent of it. So I remember they sat me down, and I was already in hospital at the time, and they were just a bit like, yeah, well, we don't really know with your, like with cardiomyopathy, your heart could just stop at any moment, or you could live a long, healthy life, and it's just, we just don't know.
Sorry, you go. It's just the unknown, and I've struggled with that like the whole time. Like you said, they say it could be this or it could be this. Just not knowing absolutely it can just eat you up. I know it's eaten me up so many times, and because you just feel like you have no control.
Yep.
And it's like, well, how are you supposed to go about your life and just normal things if you feel like you're just not in control of such a huge part of you?
I agree, honestly. Like, I think it's going to sound quite morbid, but at the time, because, like, hospital and being unwell was my life, it didn't really, I don't want to say it didn't really bother me, but I was just a bit like, that's just another thing on the pile, it's fine. But then once I got to about 19, 20, and I levelled out, I started actually living life, going to uni and met Carl, and life, I don't want to say life was worth living because that sounds a bit dramatic, but I just all of a sudden was like, actually, I don't want to just drop dead, I want to be okay, I want to be able to live a long, healthy life, and there's nothing that could very well happen. As they say, they don't know, but I think, as you say, the unknown, it is hard to kind of just get your head around it a bit.
Yeah, it's taken me a lot of years. I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet it does for everyone, but have you got an ICD then, like a implanted? Have they spoken to you about that ever?
Yeah, so that was one of the options, but unfortunately, because I've got a PICC line and I have TPN, it's too much of an infection risk at the minute. I mean, if I ever come after TPN and they take the line out, then I'd probably be suitable for one. But they said at the minute it's a bit too high risk, so they'd rather just manage things with my beta blockers, which obviously, as you know, I've just changed recently.
Yeah.
Not loving them.
No, not loving them.
No, like I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden I'll just go really cold and feel just weird, like not dizzy as if like, oh, I'm gonna go, but just a bit not, do you know what I mean? Not like fully centered.
Yeah, I mean, I was on them for a short period of time, and was on, I think, the lowest dosage possible. And yeah, I remember going out and I think I was just shopping in my local city, and I just suddenly was like, oof, what's this feeling? I don't like it. And that was the lowest dosage, so I think, oh God, I have to be on them again on a higher dosage. I don't think it'd be very nice.
No, honestly, the first couple of days were, oh my gosh, I just laid on the sofa and was not left unattended. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? But then I kind of levelled out. But then, yeah, every now and then, I think it must be a blood pressure thing, with the coldness.
Yes, I think it might be.
It's grim, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not nice. I mean, the 4 tablets I'm on, they just upped the dosage of one of them about 4 weeks ago, and just that one extra tablet, for then about 2 hours after I took it, I'd get such a headache, just have to lie on the sofa. And it is okay at the moment because I work in a school, so I'm on summer holidays.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, oh, I hope this levels out because I feel horrendous.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
crazy, isn't it? I think that's actually a good thing that I can ask you. I mean, you've mainly touched on it there, but how do you find trying to like manage up and down symptoms while also balancing like life and work?
I do think I actually find it quite hard
Mm-hmm.
because I work 5 days a week,
Wow.
and truthfully, I mean, as a teaching assistant, I love it to bits.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that for 8 years now, 9 years. I do think 5 days is now too much because when it gets to the weekend, I very rarely do anything apart from like the shopping or go and see family who live close by. I very rarely go and see friends or do things with friends, and if I do, say that's in the evening, I don't do anything all day just to make sure I have enough energy to go out and do something. Even in the evenings on a weekday, some of my friends go out just even for meals and stuff, and there is no way that I have the energy. And then when it comes to doing like maintaining the house, like we've just recently moved, me and my partner, into a bigger house. We used to live in a flat, and it's a lovely, lovely house. But then I was so overwhelmed with having to do a bit more cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
and just not having the energy to keep up with doing things, and then you feel overwhelmed because you can't do it, and then you feel really sad that you can't do it, and it just feels like a bit of a never-ending spiral, to be honest, and it can make you feel really low. I definitely would like to try and have a better balance because I don't really think I achieve it at the moment.
No, honestly, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I work part-time at the minute, but it can be quite demanding, even though at part-time, like it can be a bit.
I bet it can, yeah.
Rough. And like as you say, some weeks it's not too bad, but if it's a week, especially at the minute while I'm still adjusting to this new beta blocker, trying to find the time to give your body that recovery that it needs. Because, I mean, the minute they were like, oh, we'll put you on a different beta blocker, I remember just sitting there thinking, how am I gonna go to work? Like, I know I'm gonna need at least 2 weeks to adjust to this. Like, I can't just change and be like, right, okay, off we go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the weekends, I'm really hard on myself at weekends because I do always feel like I need to do something, otherwise, if I don't, I really feel quite low and like, oh, you're missing out, come on, you need to try. But I also think sometimes I need to just give myself that little rest because you can't always be on the go. Like, you do need time to just recharge, let your body do what it needs to do. But it's so hard getting that balance. I think that is something I really still struggle with. I've got better at it, but definitely not perfect.
No, I think it's really hard, isn't it? Because even people who are completely healthy, like they also need time to rest. So then if you do have like chronic health problems, you need a bit more time to rest, but you want to be able to keep up with healthier people than you because you still want to have fun and go out and spend time with those people. But if you just need the rest, you physically can't do it, but you want to be able to do it because they're always going out, and it's
Maybe that's one of the reasons you and me get on so well, because
I know.
we'll just lie on the sofa. That's us.
Yeah, I just love being on the sofa
I
with
know.
my cats.
Oh my gosh, can't beat it. No, but another question that I wanted to ask you. It can obviously be quite difficult trying to have these conversations with like family and friends, and I wanted to ask, like, have you been open with people in your life, or have you maybe just said certain bits, or like how do you communicate this to your nearest and dearest?
So I think I've been pretty not really open from the beginning actually, because my closest family, especially my mum and stepdad, would try and talk to me about it when I got diagnosed, but I just didn't want to talk about it, like it didn't exist. But over the years, definitely got better at talking about it. I do think I actually still find it a bit hard. I'd like to think I'm amazing at it, but I'm not.
You might be. You never know.
But I think as well, I worry a lot about if I'm struggling with something and I want to tell a family member, what their reaction would be, or if I don't want them to like worry too much or be upset for me because they also have things on their plate. But then obviously you need to be able to offload what's happening with you. And then some people I've spoken to as well, just kind of look at you like, oh, that's really awful. What? And they don't know how to respond, which is a really difficult thing to respond to. But at the same time, you're trying to be open and honest, and they just kind of look at you as if they've seen a ghost, or they just don't respond because they genuinely don't know what to say, and you just stand there feeling a little bit silly, and all you kind of want is someone to listen to what you're saying.
Yeah. No,
My friends as well, they've been really good with talking to me about it. I think I've spoken to them pretty openly about it from the beginning, and we still have conversations about it. So they've been really, really good.
that's really good. I think a strong support system makes a difference. I mean, I didn't really tell like my friends, like they all knew I had like a bit of a heart condition from like a young age, but I didn't ever really properly, have like in-depth conversations about it, just because I was really worried, one, about upsetting them, but I also was worried that they would get scared of, hanging out with me. Like, oh, if they'd feel like it was a responsibility of, oh, if anything happens to a well, not that there was a big risk of that, because, anything can happen to anyone at any point. But I was just really worried that people would feel like it was a big responsibility hanging out with me on their own, or like in a small group. But I think as I got older and we've all grown up together, I was a bit more open about kind of fully what my heart condition is and how it affects me, and the sort of risks that come along with it. I mean, also, I do think it's really hard to find a good time to try and bring that up. I mean, how do you even say that to someone? Like, oh, by the way, just so you know.
Just put that one into a conversation.
Yeah, like, there's never really a good time. But they've all been, like, they're all really great, and I don't feel like any of them ever looked at me and thought, oh, we're scared now. I think there was one or two that when I told them, like my best friends, they seemed a bit sad and worried, and I tried to reassure them. But I think, especially when I told Carl, my partner, oh God, that took me a little while to tell him, because again, I just didn't want to upset him, and I didn't want to worry him. I didn't want him to feel like, oh, this is a big responsibility, and every time I didn't feel well or anything, him think, oh no, this is like all heart related and end of the world. So it took me a while to have the conversation with him, but I felt a big weight once I did finally have that conversation with him.
Yeah, I think like you don't want to feel like it's such a responsibility to tell people.
Yeah,
It's already a difficult thing to share.
it is.
And then like if you hold it for such a long time, yeah, and then you're also worrying about the other people's reactions to it.
Yeah.
And you don't ever want to feel like someone feels like if they're your friend and they hang out with you, like their responsibility. Like at the end of the day, you're just your friends.
Exactly.
Like you're two people who want to spend time together. Like, and if they're gonna think, oh, I don't want to spend time with you because you've got a heart problem and I don't want to be responsible for you and whatever, then
They're not
well,
your
that's
people.
yeah, that's completely their loss. But I think also that's just not a very open-minded way of looking at the situation.
No.
Like, that's such a closed way of looking at it because they're only thinking about themselves there.
I agree. I mean, if somebody had a heart like issue around me, you don't think, oh, this is a big responsibility for me. You think, oh, I want to help them. Like,
Yeah.
think, oh no, what can I do to help you in that moment? And I think generally most, like I'd say 95% of people in the world would have that approach. And it's just every now and then there's maybe people that maybe don't look at things in the greatest of ways, but as you say, like it's their loss and they're not your circle with people like that. Mm-mm.
No, don't want people
No,
like that around. Not
no,
at all.
it's quite fine. I've completely forgotten all the other questions I wanted to ask, but generally, I think from your perspective and navigating life with your heart condition, we've obviously touched on a lot of anxieties and a lot of the maybe difficult things, but what are some positives aspect? Not so much positives, but do you feel like you still get to live the life that you want to live, and do you feel like it really stopped you, or is it just one of those things that you take with you and adapt to?
Yeah, I do definitely think there have been like positives because just in terms of strength of character, like if you'd said to me, even when I was 16, like this is going to happen to you in the next few years, and they can't cure it unless you have a heart transplant. How do you think you're going to cope with that one? I would feel like you're having a laugh. Absolutely no way. I'll pass, thank you. So, yeah, the fact that it's been 9 years and I'm just actually like really grateful. Like I do try and look on the positive side most of the time because I think if you don't, then your life's just going to be more miserable. Like
Yeah, I agree.
there's even though it's really hard, and like I'm really grateful that still 9 years down the line I'm able to work and my health has declined, but it's been a slow decline, nothing like really rapid, which I'm also grateful about. But yeah, it's one of those things that you just have to keep in your back pocket really, and try and carry on with daily life. But it definitely has become a little bit harder. But there are positive aspects from it. Like I really like the person that I've become because of this experience.
I think that's a really lovely way of putting it. I mean, as you say, these things, they do make you stronger as a character, and I think they really help you just appreciate life and the small things and the relationships. And I think that is something that I'm really thankful for from this whole experience, is my outlook on life and the things that I hold in high regard, which is the people and the experiences, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and like the people who you have now got around you through this whole experience, like hopefully they're here to stay because they've supported you through the whole thing. And even just small things, like if I see friends on the weekend or whatever, I think I enjoy that a lot more than what I would have, because I can't do it as often as your average person can. So when I do go out and really enjoy myself, it's just really nice to appreciate, even if you just go and meet a friend for an ice cream, not go on a massive 7-day holiday or something. Just appreciate the little things that you still get to do, because some people can't do them.
Yeah, I feel the same in that respect. I think when I do get to see friends and go out and really do any type of social thing, or they just mean they just mean a lot more in a way, and I think I hold them in more high regard, because I just feel wow, there was a time when I couldn't do this, and I feel really lucky that I can do it. But I also think something that helps me, which I think you've probably picked up on from when we chat, is I just try and make a joke of the bad stuff, It's
Same.
sometimes, and I think that is why I give you a lot of my darker jokes, because you get it and you'll bounce back. A lot of the jokes that I joke about with you are I couldn't joke about that with my partner, because he'd be like, "Oh, don't say that."
No, I know, it's good, but they're funny, and they're especially funny to us.
Yeah.
You have to say them. I've got another friend who's got some chronic health problems, and I sell her some dark jokes as well, and we find it hilarious. Because if you don't joke about it, I know the saying, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, but it is actually true. With what we have to go through, you will just cry if you don't make a joke.
I agree, honestly. I think that's one of the things because I obviously approached Cardiomyopathy UK, and I had no idea. I feel like I've obviously been living under a rock, because before I approached them, I didn't know much about them. But then when I found them, I saw that they had opportunities to obviously speak to people in similar situations, and that's obviously how we met. And I'm just so glad that I did reach out to them, because I think being able to just talk about things, and also I think talking to you and our friendship and seeing how you navigate life gave me a lot of confidence to be open and honest about my heart condition. And I think it was just so nice to break down that wall and be like, yeah, this is me, this is everything, and just be honest about it and accepting of it.
I mean, I thought the same, to be honest, because when they contacted me and said, "Oh, this person, this age, if you're able to speak to this person, email us back," and I'm so pleased that I did, because I spent such a long time, years, having not found anybody that was my age that I could speak to. I'd spoken to a couple of people before I spoke to you on the telephone peer support line, and they were lovely, but they were in their like late 40s, 50s. And they'd just been diagnosed with restrictive. And so it was lovely to help them and speak to them, but I was just so desperate to find someone who was my own age, because I just felt so lost, and that nobody else was experiencing the same things. And then when I spoke to you, and like you said how you don't like the heat, and various things like that, I was like, oh, someone who's my age who actually really gets where I'm coming from. And I was just so grateful and glad that we've kept up the friendship, because I don't know how long it's been now, but
I feel like has it been over a year?
I think it might have been.
Definitely been
Actually.
over a year. God, that's gone really quick.
I know, it has actually.
Time flies when you're having fun.
And making dark jokes.
Yeah. Oh God. But see, I think everybody you meet is like for a reason, and I think, as you say, and I'm really glad that you have found our friendship helpful. Like, that does mean a lot to me too. But I think it's done both of us good just to meet someone that gets it and be able to just get stuff off our chest and not feel, as you say, lost. Because I never used to meet people my age that hated the heat like I do. Everybody used to love summer, and I'd be sat there inside like, are you joking? Are you joking? No, I don't want to go.
Can't cope with this.
No, thank you.
Honestly, if I can literally spend, well, if I was on a sunbed, like 10 minutes outside, and then if I couldn't get in a pool, I want to go in the shade.
Oh, I feel heavy. Like, I'll be out for 10 minutes, and then literally I'll stand up and I feel like heavy. I feel like I'm trying to drag my body around. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
We'd be no good in the Caribbean. Absolutely not.
Oh, it's such a shame, because it looks so nice.
It does. It looks so.
Does it ever get a little bit colder? Is there like an off-peak season, or?
Does it ever have a winter? We could go then, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
That would be really nice. Honestly, every time we go on holiday, which really is not that often because of the heat, but we go off-peak. Everybody's like, we're going in summer. I'm like, I'm going in November.
Well, I don't blame you, because me and my partner went on holiday to Kefalonia in end of July.
Oh my God, Hope.
And I thought I was going to be fine, and I was not fine at all.
No.
I thought, like, it's fine, get in the pool, and that pool was lovely. The pool was absolutely fine. But even just walking for like 5 minutes, if I had left our room I needed to leave with a bottle of water, with a fan, and the bottle of water had to be cold because I was worried about getting overheated. And then also, my big mistake was, I thought, if I take all my meds, because they're, is it diuretics? I forget even how you say it. Which make you obviously wee a lot. Thought, if I take them all, and I'm also in a hot country, I'll get dehydrated. So let's not take them all. Bad idea.
Oh my God, Kate.
Because then after about 2 nights, I was laying down like flat in bed, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit wheezy. And I thought I'd just, over the course of the week, developed a little bit of a chest infection because of the aircon. But by Friday, I couldn't actually swim from one side of the pool to the other without being really out of breath. And I was like, oh no, I've messed up big time here.
Okay.
And I got back like the early hours of Saturday morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I want to say by like 1 or 2 p.m. No, about 3 p.m. on the Saturday, I was at my local hospital. And I'd got fluid on my lungs because I hadn't taken my tablets enough, And so the fluid that was supposed to get out wasn't getting out. I thought I just sweat it out, but obviously it doesn't work like that.
Oh my God.
And it all got into my lungs and I literally couldn't breathe.
Oh my God.
Don't ever make that
Oh
mistake.
no. Oh my God.
Anyone listening, if you're thinking about doing it, just
Yeah,
don't.
don't do what Hope's just done. No way.
I
Oh
thought I was genuinely being clever, and it was a
no.
big mistake. So
Oh, that really could have been end of the world situation there, Hope. Oh,
I'm glad that we came back the day that we did, because if I think I was there another day, I would have been in the hospital in Greece or something, and that would have been
that would have been ended.
bad. But it's good because I do have very good travel insurance. But
Oh, great. Yeah, great. I hope so. Oh my God. I
but yeah,
can't
just
believe
don't do that.
you just so casually were like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Oh
So
God.
I won't take them all. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's only for 6 days.
Fixed it. Oh my God. I mean,
No, that I did. I think I took them. I didn't take them for 5 days.
I mean, in fairness,
That wasn't.
I can kind of see the thought process behind that. Like, I can. Like, I do get it. I think maybe we should have not done that. Maybe.
I think because like I'd recently. I think it was only in January this year that I had my meds up to 3, and I used to take 1, and then they upped up to 3. And I'd never had any big issues before, like I'd never had swelling in my ankles or anything. So I was like, oh, if I went away, and sometimes at weekends I used to get a bit laxed of if I forgot to take them. Oh, that's fine, doesn't matter. I'll just take them the next day, whatever. So I didn't think at all that it was going to end up in a situation like this.
Yeah.
It's taught me a valuable lesson, but I didn't think that would end up like that whatsoever. But lesson learned.
You know what though? Like, every day is a school day, isn't it? And we've learned, and we feel better now for knowing. And it's probably just as well that you trialed it out this way, because imagine if you'd have gone away for like longer and done it.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? So at least now we know we're not going to shit,
Yeah.
and we're great. Yeah. And everything worked out fine.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot better.
Oh my God. Oh God, that has really made me.
Yeah, it's good. We can laugh about it because it's funny.
Laugh about it now.
My mum was not laughing about it. Let me tell you that.
Gosh, I bet your mum was beside herself. Bless her. Oh, okay.
I'm not going to do it again, Mum. I know she'll listen to this. Mum, I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, she definitely won't do that again. We promise. I feel like we've probably aged our mums quite significantly.
I feel like we have.
I know I've aged my poor mum.
I know I've aged my poor mum too.
Yeah, my mum.
Sorry, Mum.
Like, just beside herself. If I don't respond to a text within like an hour, I'm getting multiple, and she thinks, I've pegged it.
My mum she'll ring me, or if I don't answer once, not always, but then she'll phone my partner.
Oh yeah, that's the new one.
And because you obviously don't want to make them stressed at all. Because like you love them so much, this is the last thing that you want to do. But
sometimes I'll open the message when I'm busy, and then think, oh, I'll reply to that in a little bit, and then I forget. So
yeah.
I'm not like purposely not responding to her. But yeah, no, she does have a bit of a panic when she doesn't hear from me. And then now that she's got Carl's number and got him on WhatsApp, she'll just go to him now. If she's not heard from me in a specific time frame, it's all guns blazing. You're alright. Where is she? Is she with you? What's she doing? Okay,
Activate that mum, panic mum.
Panic button, panic stations. No, but I kind of get it. I think I've done it with her before. There was a time, because she's really bad with her phone, there was a time when she didn't answer, and I remember thinking, oh my god. So it is
Yeah,
quite.
what's happened?
Well, I'd better let you go because I feel like otherwise we could just chat all
We
night.
could chat for hours, to be
I
honest.
know, honestly. Oh, well, is there anything you would like to add, like, to anybody that's listening to this? Is there anything that you would like to say, or do you feel like you've said everything?
Um, I think just to touch upon, I know you already said about the Cardiomyopathy UK charity, but they're really good.
They are.
Um, and like I know my mum got in contact with them as soon as I got diagnosed. I think she literally typed cardiomyopathy into YouTube, not YouTube, Google, and that was one of the things that came up. And she spoke to them on their helpline, and they've been with us like all the way through. So they've got so much information on there. Like if you're going through it yourself, if you're a friend, a family member, even like people who uh, you work for example, like there's so much information that you can get off their website, and the videos and stuff that they do, which can enlighten you into what it's like basically. But also, I think it's important because, especially as there's a lot of people, especially sports people, who
Yeah.
end up suddenly dying,
Yeah.
um, that like the the symptoms and stuff should probably be more widely talked about, because I think it might then stop that from happening so much, because it's happening more and more frequently and it's just so sad.
It is. I think you're hearing a lot more cases of, unfortunately, young people, going undetected. And I,
Yeah,
if that's any message to put out, as you say, if there are even any minor symptoms, if you just feel a bit different, a bit more puffed out when you're exercising, any flutters, dizziness, anything that doesn't feel quite normal, is a bit new, I think just get it checked out. I mean, odds are, it's probably nothing, but I think it's so much
hmm
better to be safe than sorry.
yeah, because I mean, like with my condition, the doctors told me that apparently I've had it since birth, and I wouldn't have known about it, and unless I'd gone for that operation and told a little bit of a fib. Um,
Or for the therapy dog.
but and I honestly wouldn't have known. And we've recently found out that this is genetic, and that's taken 9 years to find that out.
Wow.
Um, and you just think, I can't be the only one, and you'd much rather know, um, than unfortunately potentially pass away because it went undetected.
I agree, and I think, as you say, once you know about it, I know it can be really daunting, and I know we've you and me have probably talked about quite dark things, but that's because we're a bit desensitized to it.
Yeah,
It's life. But honestly, you really can manage it really well, and it's not the big scary thing that I think it sounds. You can live the life you want to. You can manage it. There are
yeah,
medications and stuff out there. We're on them. We're ticking along.
yeah. It's not the end of the world like I
Uh,
once thought that it was. It
yeah,
isn't, and it does get better.
it does. It does. And you get to meet people like me and you at these charities.
Yeah,
What more could you want?
exactly. We're cool.
Yeah, we're cool.
We're amazing.
Have our jokes. Come on, we're funny.
If, come be our friends and we'll tell you some really dark jokes if you've got heart problems.
Yeah, sounds ideal to me. Wouldn't want to come to that.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
well, thank you for doing this. Honestly, I've had a great time. I
Me
really have.
too.
We should do
Thank you
this
for
more
inviting me to come on. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't mind. It's
often.
lovely.
Honestly, we'll make this a regular. Put it in our diaries.
Love that, love that.
Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope you have.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you
See you
again for
later.
inviting me on. I've had a lovely time.
Oh no, God, welcome anytime. See you, Hope.
Thank you. I'll see you later.